All right, so you shot a deer. Now what? I know quite a few people are new to hunting, which is great. Hopefully you have someone with you to help you do this kind of stuff and show you what to do. But if not, I've always wanted to make a video to show how to field dress a deer, or at least the way I field dress a deer. So I shot this buck this morning behind me. You'll see him in a minute. And I moved him away from where I wanted to, and now I'm going to field dress him. So what I've done so far is I've taken off my outer couple layers of clothing because I didn't want to get him covered with blood. Plus this deer is stinking because he's been rutting. I didn't want to get that all over my outer clothes. And I brought him to where I'm going to gut him. I got stripped down a couple layers, like I said. I'm going to take my watch off because it's going to get bloody and dirty. I got out the tools that I use. Now, you can click on a link I'll post it above that shows you a video that shows what I use to field dress my deer. So now that I've got all my stuff ready, let's get ready to go here. What I like to do first is I will position the deer so he's facing downhill. It kind of pulls all his guts towards the front of his body. And then the first cuts I make are, I'm going to try and get a camera in here to show close up what I'm doing, or maybe right here. But the first cut I make is around his anus. You can see right there, I get into the fleshy part around the anus, not cutting into any meat, I'm just cutting through the skin. And I'm just gonna go right around the outside of it. If you need to, you can grab it and hold it where you need to go and whatever else. They do make tools to help this go easier. They call it a butt out tool. I've tried it before, it works, but it's a pain to keep clean. It's a pain to pack in my bag, so I just cut it with the knife. Okay, so now that I've cut all the way around, I'm gonna reach in there around the intestine and kind of separate it from all of the membranes and stuff that are holding it inside the pelvic bone. I just kind of reach in there and loosen it up. You'll see why in a couple minutes. It'll make things a lot easier down the road. So, all right, so I got it all loosened up. Now what I'm gonna do is open his legs up, and unfortunately this deer has been rutting, so he does stink. I'm gonna have to get stinky, I guess. And the first thing I do is I'm going to cut his penis and his testicles off. Just going around the penis and the testicles, and I'm being careful not to cut any more than just the skin. Now what that's going to do is that whole, I think it's the tube from the bladder to the penis, I don't know what it's called. That's going to reach down towards his anus, so I'm going to slowly cut that free. There, and I'm working my way all the way down towards where I cut around his anus. And I'm just gonna cut that all loose and cut it out of there. Okay, so that's free. Now the next thing I do is I cut through the meat right here in the center of the pelvic bone. Again, you want to be careful not to cut it up into the belly because that's where his intestines are, and we don't want to break that at all. So I just cut down through the meat. Okay, now the next tool I use is the gut hook. This helps you open up the deer without actually cutting his stomach contents open. So I put that in there and just run it straight up, right up towards his sternum. It opens them right up. And that's all I need that for. That's it. Now that I've got him open, positioning him uphill will slide his insides a little bit and give me some room to work. And now I'm gonna use my saw here. So I'm gonna reach in with the hook, grab a hold of the saw and pull it back through, hopefully. There we go. Now I got each end of the saw, and I'm going to use it to cut his pelvic bone open. There we go. That opens up his pelvic bone. That gives you access to his intestine, his bladder, to get his bladder out of there, his anus, all that other stuff. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to turn him the other way so everything else will flow down the way I want it to flow. Having a little uphill and downhill spot works great to help you keep his insides from going where you don't want them to go. So I'm going to turn him around. There. All right, now, next part is where it gets a little bloody. I shot this deer with my crossbow, but the arrow broke. So the broadhead is in here somewhere. So I want to be really careful now when I'm opening up this deer, because that broadhead is floating around in there. I believe it's up here near this shoulder somewhere. Oh, it's you just want to be really careful. And now what I usually do is you can open them up and look, and you'll see his liver, his stomach, and I'm gonna cut his diaphragm. It looks like a thin piece of meat. Cut his diaphragm so I can now reach up above all his other insides. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reach up in there as far as I can towards his throat and feel his windpipe. It feels like a garden hose inside the deer. And I'm gonna grab it and I'm gonna run my hands around it and hold on to it and free it up from all the membranes that are holding it in place. And then I'm gonna carefully reach in there with my knife and cut the top of that windpipe and pull. And when I pull that windpipe, all of his insides will start coming out. Usually you just pull it. Sometimes you use a knife to free it up a little bit. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. Again, I'm being very careful because I know there is a broadhead in here somewhere. I just don't know exactly where it is. All right. I've got his windpipe up here, and I'm trying to free it from all the membranes. Let me try the other hand. Okay, my hand's all the way up inside. I'm about right here in this deer, and I've got his windpipe, and I'm freeing it up as much as I can. Now I'm going to take this hand carefully and put that knife up in there with my hand and cut the top of that windpipe. If I can get in there. It's close quarters, and oh, hold on. Oh, it's close quarters, and I'm being careful, so. You want to be careful too if you're gun hunting. A lot of times there's bone fragments in there that are sharp, bullet fragments. So, all right, I've got the windpipe, and now I'm pulling, and everything is kind of coming out, and it's all coming down. Here's his lungs. Now there are some stuff that's getting stuck, and I'm gonna cut it away with the knife and work it free. Again, I'm being very careful because somewhere is a broadhead. I don't know where it is. All right. So as you can see, it's all coming out in one big hunk now. And I'm just working my way down. And now we're gonna be down around the bladder and the anus. And this is why we open up the pelvic bone and cut it before. So all this stuff will just pull out and go away. That's it. So he's field dressed. It's just that easy. Now, when I do this by myself, I could probably get it done in about 5 minutes. It goes pretty quick. All I'm gonna do now is lift the deer up from the head, drain all the blood out that's inside him, and leave his chest cavity open. You could probably see some steam coming out of there. Let that steam come out, cool this meat down, and help preserve the meat. It's just that simple. So hopefully this video will help somebody out, and I'm glad you followed along. Subscribe to our page if you want to see some more hunting videos and also some tips. And like I tell everybody all the time, I wish you guys nothing but tight lines and short blood trails. Thanks for coming along. Oh yeah, my favorite piece of meat out of the deer. Everybody's always talking about back straps. I love the heart.